When we operate in love, we take action.
Because if I can do it, I promise you any of you can do it. There's no question about that.
If you want your present to be better, your future has to be bigger. What's that?
What's happening?
Oh man, just rocking and rolling. March 1st. What's good?
Hey, isn't it Fat Tuesday?
Is it?
Is it?
I know it's National Pancake Day or something. I think I saw that come across.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing wrong with that.
National Fat Pancake Day. Happy
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. There we go.
What's good, man? What's going on out there?
Man, it's good. It's good down here in my neck of the woods. That's for sure.
Well, appreciate all of you guys jumping in. If you got any questions, throw it into the comments. That's really what this time is about, to help you guys get unstuck. Anything that's going on in your agent attraction, growing your organization, focus. We got Mr. Albie coming in from the west side of the 216, and we got the Gringo Rican.
The Gringo Rican.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Just hitting those invites. We got Coach Burt flying in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. Not this weekend, but next. And yeah, man, I just having fun. I'm having fun just in sending them invites out, inviting, team leaders, brokers. If the team leader says that they can't make it, then I invite their team members. They always appreciate that. And that's it. Yeah, just going right down my list, man, hitting it.
How are the conversations going? As far as the real estate side of things, it's, I know people have been mentioning since the beginning of January, it already feels like a spring market. So, how does that lean into, opportunities on the agent attraction side when business seems to be, really tough to get, especially if your business has been built on two things, on buyers and on, word of mouth. So
one of the things that I've been reading in like threads on social media, I don't know if you guys have caught any of this, is, and I don't know if it's really a local thing or if I'm reading it, I don't know where I'm reading it. It could be like in various parts of the country, is that because of this, the amount of, in fact, this was a local thing I was reading, and it was this lady who, she's a great agent here locally, has a small team, does really well. And she was, kind of complaining about how agents are just being, specifically listing agents, are being cocky, unethical, rude to buyers agents because they have all the control right now, versus back in the day when we would sit down, Jay, you remember sitting down with your list of all your listings and calling to get price reductions like that. No one does that right now. Like that is not a thing we do. I remember doing that a lot. Yep. That just doesn't exist. And so I think the one thing I improved upon with just the way I carried myself and communicated with the agents is like when I first got thrown into this business, I got I started with a Century 21 office that was a total throwback, old school, all bunch of guys in there, they all wore suits, and it was they were just super old school, and some of them were just jerks, and so I kind of grew up in an environment where I thought I had to be like that. I had to be Mr. Tough Guy in negotiations and all that. And luckily I learned quickly that you catch more bees with honey. So, I think that this environment where you got 11 offers and, I think it's puffing some people's chests up just because they got a listing. It's making them good. And they're not selling these houses. FJetBlue. Yeah, FJetBlue. I think it's given some agents a false sense of that they think they're better than they really are, and that it's not their magic that's selling these houses and getting 11 offers. Okay, if you underprice a property, guess what? You're going to get 20 offers over asking price. So there's I think it's I literally was just talking to another agent and they earlier in the week, and they're like, you know what? It's not fun to be an agent every day. Like it's stressful, it's disappointing. And so I think there's a mindset out there that unfortunately this really hot market is not all the best for a lot of the agents. So I think there's an opportunity to like step up and be better, be more respectful to your buyer's agents, and you might get, a much better reaction, because if you're not acting like the rest of the jackasses, they're like, being rude and not returning phone texts and all that stuff. I think you have a good opportunity, to leverage that for attracting some agents.
I think so too. And if you've got a couple processes or systems that are working to get you listings, is another great opportunity to open the door to have agent conversations in your market, right? That you have the listings. It's like, hey, what's going on? I mean, it feels like you're beating yourself up there on the buy side. What are you doing to get listings? So just open the question up, because it's a pain point for them if they're working with buyers, and just get them to, have some awareness that they have a problem and that you potentially might have a solution. Could open the door to having an agent attraction conversation.
Love it.
So I think it's a great opportunity for the market right now. And if you're a buyer, an agent, and you're just only on the buy side, it's a time allocation. Go reinvest that same on the listing side. You're going to get a better output, instead of just because you got a live one on the line doesn't mean it's worth reeling in. And so you can take that same time that you're going to get frustrated, lose out on multiple offers. I mean, we did this study, back in 2010, 2011, we put a stopwatch to it. I mean, it was 26 hours on the buy side in a balanced market, 2 hours on the listing side. So if you're spending even 15 to 20 hours with the buyer that you never get under contract, why not take that 15 or 20 hours and focus on the listing side?
It's probably more with as many offers that got to be written to get one under contract. It's even worse. It's even more lopsided.
Yeah. So, I think it's just understanding your time allocation, but it's scary, right? Because it's unfamiliar especially for a lot of agents that have built their business just kind of being an order taker and deals falling in their lap. They haven't ever had to be proactive. So it's a little scary for them, but it's just time allocation. You just can invest on that side. For sure. So flipping over on the agent attraction side of things, question kind of, what is one of the best videos that doesn't really dive into rev share? Yeah, kind of unpack that, man. What's ideal videos?
There's one or two things going on there. They don't care for the revenue share, so they don't want that to take over the video kind of feeling, or they know that this person is probably not interested in revenue share. So it's probably one of those two things. What I would say is, if that's the news video is not listed up anywhere. It will be shortly. You'll have a solution shortly. I would say the short answer to that is going to be the Brent Go thing. I think, don't let your thoughts about rev share keep people from seeing the opportunity. That's the first thing. I think a lot of people think that most people are not, they're not going to be interested in revenue share, or they think we're just a recruiting company, but they don't really understand it. And it's the job of the video to educate and inform them. And so that's part of what is in there. And if you don't show it to them, and then they certainly will never understand it and see it as an opportunity. So, I think there's a little bit going on there that kind of needs to be unpacked, like John said.
I was just talking to one of our agents, Darren, about this, because he ran into I don't remember who it was. It was an agent that talked to him and was saying the same, very similar thing. Like, I am not interested in agent attraction. And so he was like kind of stuck. And I said, well, let's unpack why they would say that. So the mindset of what would be make someone so adamant against it, like truly psychology. Okay? And I broke it down with him on the phone. And so one, they were recruited by someone who, they really didn't care for, didn't have any respect for. They came at him the wrong way. So in their mind, they don't want to be that person. And that's just, whatever. Because the one thing we have to agree on is that without recruiting, every brokerage out there in the world, almost every brokerage, I would say, the tiny small ones doesn't matter because the broker's in production, so they can survive. But every other brokerage where they're going to scale dies without recruiting. Like, no one can deny that. So if that's a truth, and we can agree that that's a truth, then why would somebody, and then here's the other thing, like, okay, would someone that's of sane mind say, I want to work 3 times as hard for the same money that I could and earn passively? Like, no. I don't want the passive income. That is a no. I want to just work harder for it. No one in their right mind would say that. So the question becomes, why are they saying it? And I believe, again, it's an education step. It's a step in the direction of, okay, well, if you could earn passive income without being a recruiter, without presenting or taking people to lunch and doing all these things that recruiters do, would you then be interested in earning passive and growing up a stream of passive income? And if they say no, then you're probably talking to the wrong person at that point. They're just not open-minded.
Right.
Yeah, you're looking for your people. So you're looking for the people that believe what you believe. That's why the belief thing goes in there. I just believe, it's like you said, Al, right? I believe at some point in your life you'll want a passive income stream. What's your exit strategy in this industry? You plan on being the 83-year-old realtor that's still opening doors. Take them into the future. For sure. I'll let guys kind of break this down to, kind of the first steps on the agent attraction side of things. I know we have talked about this a lot in the past, but this would be good, worth mentioning. Hey, if you're just brand new into the company, you're brand new in, kind of what should be some of your first steps?
Are you talking as far as agent attraction, John?
Yes.
Well, it would be taking the training. I mean, jump into Honey Badger Nation, go to the pin post and take the training and look at the training that's available. I would also say study the document on 3-way calls. I mean, if that's all you did and you were able to master those skills that are taught in those trainings, you couldn't be off to a better start, I think. The number one thing I think a lot of people are asking me, like, they're not digging into the training that's out there available. And the number one, I guess, if I were to point at one thing among like the Dan Hillsmans and the Andres and everyone, the one variable that's consistent that their success is they get me on more 3-way calls than anyone else. And it comes down to at bats. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not taking swings and getting into the batter's box, then you don't even have a chance to strike out or hit a base hit or a double. And so, I had a thought too about, we get asked this a lot of times. We get asked, how do I have a conversation with a broker? Like, where do I even begin with a broker? And I have a solution for you. Okay. The number one goal at first, it shouldn't be to talk the broker into transferring their brokerage into EXP. The number one thing, your number one goal should be to get them to fill out the form, the worksheet, so then we can give it to the young lady that works all the numbers and shows the numbers and does the math. That meeting should be like the first goal. if you can't get them to that point, then they're not a good candidate at the moment anyway. It doesn't mean they're not going to be a good candidate in a year, but if you can get a broker, or even I would say more a broker than a large team, but even a large team, to the point of getting them, into a conversation. And I'm sorry that her name is escaping me, but I'm gonna go find it right now. Let's see, where is it? She'll be mad at me if I forget her name. Damn it. Where is it? Here we go. It is Ashley Galladay. Ashley Galladay. So her little hashtag is beyond the napkin. Beyond the napkin, which kind of just clicked as to why. Yeah. So Ashley is the wizard behind the curtain that works all the numbers out. And so your goal with the brokerage should be to get that meeting with Ashley. She has a document that she'll send you. Keep that document in hand. And as soon as the broker takes the time to fill that entire document out, Ashley we'll get into her calendar. She'll set up the meeting, show them the apples to apples comparison. Then she'll forecast out what 1 year could look like, what 2 years could look like. And that really puts things in better perspective for brokers.
How do they connect with her again, Al?
I mean, just Workplace. I connect through Workplace.
She got the real calculator.
She does. She's got the Glenn Gary calculator.
Nice. So I know we've got events coming up, events on the radar. What's Gova's got Cabo next week. I know there's a ton of things going on. Back to a couple of the first things that they're talking about, agree 100%, go through the training. I would say dive into Carruthers, Building an Empire, also Freedom Manifesto, kind of open your eyes. And that might be another great little nugget. If somebody's like, I don't want to see anything on RevShare, it's great. I've got a great little book that might open your eyes to the future. Would you be open to reading it? And that's the Freedom Manifesto to me is one of the great little giveaways. And so being able to give that little book to them and see if that opens their mind. And there you go. Untrap Freedom Manifesto. That's a perfect giveaway. And then going through Carruthers, and then it's starting to build the list. And just to echo exactly what Al was saying, one of the things Jay and I would always look at is how many people were was in the calendar for three-way calls. And it was always consistent. Like you said, it was always Hillsman. It was always Andre. It was always Levi. It was always Morris, right? It was always James. It was that crew, man, that followed the process. And, the beautiful thing being new, you've got about 6-month window. You can play the I'm new card. And he's like, that's a great question. I came over, this is what excited me, but let's get on. If I could get you on a call with, one of the top guys at EXP, would you be willing to jump in and then set that 3-way call?
No, I love it. That's it. And that white paper, I had it in one of my many, many open tabs, and I think I just recently closed it. But you can find it in the file section, right, John? Honey Badger Nation. Honey Badger Nation. Get into there. All the files, everything's in there. What's the name of that paper? It was the one that Andre sent. I'm gonna go ahead and post it because Andre has a paper with links on it and everything. It's really nice because it's just got everything together. I'm going to find it. Where is it? I'll post it. Here it is. Correct way to do a 3-way call. Found it.
Boom.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it'll let me post something like that.
Training is all in the Honey Badger Facebook group. Yep.
Yep.
You can go into files or whatever it's called now is in there. There's a pinned post on the announcements or whatever they call it. It's pinned to the top. There's several of things that are pinned there. Go in there. There's a long one from Holly. It has all of it laid out in one single post. Man, keep the questions coming. That best way for us to help all of you guys get unstuck. Man, I think the thing on the recruiting skills, I mean, it's go through the training and then it's reps. Right? It's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole reps. And you're going to learn so much by getting people on those three-way calls and listening to how those three-way calls go. I mean, that's what made Hillsman so damn good is that he would get on those three-way calls and he would just listen. And he listened to how many three-way calls, would you say? At least 100?
150.
So,
between me and him and his people that he got on those three-way calls.
So that's how you develop anything. Any type of skill is done through repetition.
Yep. I just posted that back to the top too.
In the Honey Badger group?
Yeah, in the Honey Badger group. I just
it sank down a bit, didn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes these things get lost. So you guys can go in there and easy for you to find now. No excuses. Get in there. Look at that paper. It's gold. Gold.
Yeah.
What's funny is that when people call me and ask me, like, they're just, you know that they didn't do any of the training because they're completely setting it up the wrong way, or they're not on the call themselves, or they don't do it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey man, check out this white paper. Do me a favor. Watch this entire, all the videos that are in here, study it. And then the next time they set up a call, it's completely different. The call goes night and day better. And I'm like, yep, they studied, they did their homework. I can tell, like, I didn't have to ask them if they did it because I know how the call's going to go.
Almost every call that I did, every three-way call that I was doing for a while, if it wasn't a three-way call, it was that type of question. And the answer was 100% always the same. Go through the training. Have you been through the training? No. Go through the training. Like that's it is, it's if either you've been trained or you haven't been trained, right? Like those are facts. And then it's take action. It's going to be a numbers game after that. You go learn something on every one.
That's it. So event wise, I know we've got, like I said, we've got Cabo coming up. We've got shareholders, wrapping up their end of Q2. So just starting to get some things on the radar for everybody to be thinking about and make sure, being intentional with these events. I mean, it's an opportunity to get yourself, but also people that you're trying to bring into the company into proximity of people that can do all the heavy lifting for you. I mean, it's just, don't fight it. I mean, there's too many, you want to entrepreneur your way through recruiting. And it's like, man, you just got to get in and just follow the system and learn while you're taking advantage of, other people doing all the heavy lifting for you.
Speaking of heavy lifting, Rock and Rescue, we started firing that conversation up. Obviously it's always better earlier than later. And man, I got to tell you, that's heavy. But now it's gotten to a point where there's so many people that want to hop in, and it's really because of two things. It's because of the cause. The I don't know if you want to call it a pandemic or whatever you want to call it, with human trafficking is a very, very sensitive subject for so many people around the country and in the world, I suppose too. But I have people reaching out to me left and right wanting to get involved in it. So talk about heavy lifting. You know, the more we do these, believe it or not, the less heavy lifting is on my shoulders. And my goal has always been to bring other people in and make it their events. But FYI, everybody, if you're looking for a reason to come to good old CLE, Cleveland, Ohio, we're going to be doing Rock and Rescue. It's looking like in September. We don't have an exact date. It'll be the 8th or the 15th. We're trying to zero in on that and the band, and it should be fun. So maybe you want to pencil that in. And Jay's been there. Mike, or actually, John, I don't know if you've been there. Mike hasn't. Jay's been to a Rock and Rescue.
Have not.
It's a good time.
We'll have to get that on the radar.
You know, someone from Real Producers, they're the other ones. They want to really get behind it, and that's great because you talk about Real Producers and you think about their business model. It's brilliant. They target the top 500 agents in any particular market. That's typically their model, and then they have the affiliates kind of, you know, pay for advertising so that they can throw events and masterminds and stuff like that. And I asked them, I said, hey, can I sponsor? And they won't take my money. They're like, no, that's our model. It's free for you. You just come for free. I'm like, yeah, but I want to sponsor it. They're like, no. They won't take your money. But, you know, they focus on that top 500. So you're talking about going to events, you know, get to those Real Producer events. That's where the producers are at. I mean, go where they're at. And I was just the one last week. And so the guy came up to me and he's like, man, he goes, what you're doing is so great with Rock and Rescue, this and that. And he's like, but I just love it that you're bringing all the other real estate brokers together. So if you have the energy and the desire to want to start throwing one of these types of events in your market, it's gonna have a residual payoff for you. It's going to position you as a giver to your community, giving back to the community. It also positions you as someone who's bringing everyone together for one night of fun versus everyone kind of separately doing their own things.
Yeah.
So consider it. I know a couple people have thought about it, but, you know, pull the trigger, do it. I think you're going to enjoy the results.
You guys going to try to lock that in here pretty quick, that date?
Yeah, those are the 2 dates that pretty much the only 2 that we can do is September 8th or 15th. So we just got to zero in on which one and pull the trigger.
Cool. It'll be great. We can definitely get that date locked in and start pushing it for sure. What else are you guys kind of seeing out there? Anything on the EXP front that need to be at the forefront of anybody's mind or they could use in conversation?
We just Remax was number 3 or was number 3 in agent count in the US. We just passed them. So you didn't see that news. That's pretty big. Moving into the number 3 spot, 2 more spots to go, and we'll be number 1 in the States, at least in the US. So pretty good stuff.
Real good. Real good stuff.
If you think about it, let's think about this. 2 years ago, we were having conversations with people and they didn't even know who we were. Now we're bigger than Remax. That's crazy. In 2 years, imagine what will be happening a year from now when we're in 2023. This year's going to go by like crazy fast. And then now we'll be in the number 2 spot and we'll be headed towards number 1. And so this is fascinating.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, just even think back in 17 when we came over, what the agent count was. 70,000 more agents, 71,000 more agents since we came over.
It took 3 decades for most companies to do what they did in 4 years.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So we have another event that's coming up here in April. I'm going to be in, and I don't know if you guys want to tag along on this one. It's never not fun in Nashville, April 6th and 7th. We have our sprint. So I'm hoping to see lots of honey badgers. I want the whole the whole sprint filled with winners from Honey Badger Nation because you got your 2, I think it's a minimum of 2 sponsored agents to qualify. And if you're coming to Nashville, we're going to guarantee you're going to have a good time. So we'll be in Nashville in about a month from now.
Nice.
You were there last one, John.
Yeah. Yep. It was good. It was really good. It's where we met Coach Burt.
Right. And Coach is speaking, actually.
Nice.
So he's going to speak on the 6th. We're trying to set something up with Dustin with his little bag of tricks, Dustin Black.
What'd you say the dates again are? I don't know that I see that on my calendar over here.
It's probably not, but it's you would fly in probably April 5th. And then the event's the 6th and 7th. So if you wanted to do a quick in and out, it would be April 5th, fly in. You could fly out like 7th at night if you didn't want, or 8th. We're going in the 4th. I'm staying the whole week.
Yeah. Yeah. I got 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks right behind that in the States. So I don't know if that is spend that much time back in the States or not. I'm not sure about that yet.
You're gonna be, you can be in Dallas.
I'll be in. We're doing Little Sahara 1 week, and we'll be in Lawton, Dallas, and then Lawton.
Gotcha.
Nice. What else on y'all's mind out there listening in? Any questions, anything that you're wrestling with, anything you're thinking about, throw it into the comments, and we'll definitely unpack it for you. It says, can you share this news if you have any link? What news specifically?
The Remax news, I bet. It's
Gotcha.
probably it's in work. I think it's in Workplace, right? Probably where we saw it. Somebody's calling me from McKinney, Texas. Anybody want to bet they're calling for off-market properties? I get calls every day because my license, is in Texas. They always call.
Would love to get our lives back on the calendar if every week doesn't work at least once a month.
I wonder if they're talking about
I'm glad that who I can't see the name who said that, but thank you for saying that. I almost brought it up. And so, going through and doing the live presentation every week, one of the biggest opportunities, and I just feel like, we get on these calls and we hear a lot of the same things. It's sometimes different folks that jump on, and a month later, you're jumping back into, agent attraction and you jump in here or whatever, and then you ask a similar question. So we get to hear a lot of this stuff over and over and over again. And so, like, I'm over here just like, about to chew my arm off. I was talking to Al right before we got on here, and I just want to I want to solve some of these problems, right? Like, I feel like there's things that we could be doing more to help everybody with this. And I think we've created a lot of things, but maybe they're just not easy to find and some of that or whatever. But we have there's a discussion going on. No, most of y'all aren't really aware of, between me, Al, John, and what we're doing with NAEA and how we're kind of trying to bring some things into more alignment, which for me is a big deal because it brings resources that I haven't really had access to. And that just really cramps your thinking when you don't have all the people to get things done. And what could you do? What could we do to add more value and to help you guys? And so that's an easy one. That's something I can do, and we can turn that back on. Probably we'll pick Tuesdays or Thursdays is when we used to do that. But it's a live event, and I had a conversation with somebody that they had a whole bunch of people they need to invite to one place. Well, we called that a PGP, and it was a private group presentation. It's how we suggest everybody comes on board. And I'm gonna throw this out there too, just Al, John, for accountability for me to find this stuff and make sure we get it put in the right place. But I did these trainings live at every event since our very first mastermind. You know what I'm saying, that we did in I can't remember where that one was. The very first one, we were in a different building. I just remember the atmosphere, and I remember giving that presentation for the first time, the One Big Fire presentation. I've given that presentation 5 or 6 times publicly. It's all out there. It's on Brent Gove's site. It's on YouTube. It's in a lot of different places like that. But like, there's some high level training that either you've seen or you haven't seen, and that's our fault if we haven't put it in the right place to make sure that you guys have access to it, because that's not a part of what's on agentattractiontraining.com. But that's the holy grail, and so. That piece that piece to me is one of the most important things, because if you don't understand the PGP, then you wouldn't even know to invite someone to a live presentation or how to do it. And so I think there's some things we can be doing on the back end. We're definitely going to bring that back to a weekly. That's something that's easy to do. That way you always have something live that you can recruit to consistently. We have to decide, one of our choke points before was you don't know who's going to be there unless you jump on. And with 10,000 agents, that might be an issue now. And maybe we should be creating an opt-in, and maybe that's something we could create for you somehow. HubSpots that we have access to. There's just some little things that I want to brainstorm. So like, you guys throw out some ideas of what would be cool if we could help you guys help create for you guys. We're in the middle of kind of deciding how we're going to be moving forward and what would be the best way for us to add more value to everyone. And as I identify these little problems, I'm like, man, that would be easy to solve. We might be able to solve this really easily. But anyways, that's one that I'm going to write down. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I wrote it down too. Restarting the PGPs. It's funny you just asked that question to the group, because I'm going to ask it too. I don't know how many people we have on live here, but if you could put it in the comments, like, what would be your number 1 or number 2 choke points, and what's really just getting you stuck? And you can be frank. Is it the fact that you can't find the training? Is it the fact that I shouldn't use the word fact? Is it that you can't find the training? Is it because you're so busy, trying to sell homes to put food on the table that you haven't been able to, manage your time to a point where you break time out from? That's a big one that I get a lot. It's like, how do I break away from production and focus on, on agent attraction? Is it you just don't know what to send? Is it, what specifically is it? And based upon what you guys tell us is really what we want to create. The cool thing is this isn't about, we've talked about this, and Jay, I'm sure you don't mind me sharing it.
No, not at all.
Honey Badger Nation's at 10,000 agents. And whether we do nothing, whether we sign off and say, sayonara, everybody, we love you, thank you, bye, which we're not going to do, by the way, but whether we do that, we're going to go to 20,000 agents no matter what. So when we were talking about, like, what do we do with our resources? It's not about how do we get to 20,000 agents. That's not the goal. It's going to do that on its own. The goal is how can we add more value to our current agents? How can we help other people win bigger and faster? How can we help get you unstuck and get, untrapped and get free? And so what is it, guys? So it's the choke points, the coming on the scene of new company called Real Broker, and talking points around that. Okay, Caroline. So, competition and real. Okay. Is there a Google Doc with the process on the training for agent attraction? Looks like it's all over the place. How to weave the two offerings when speaking to agents, joining my team versus EXP. Thank you for your feedback, Caroline. Did you say choke point? Yes, Deanne. I said choke point. So these are good. So Jay, what I'm seeing is, I think that one thing that we can do is, I know that we have the pinned post, but if we had everything in one place and almost, a curriculum that you came out of, and just like we created the, you and Mike, I don't know if it was 2010 or 11, you created the CHSA and the CHBA certifications to certify you as an expert to working with buyers and an expert with listing homes. Maybe that's what we need to create, as a certification of, that makes sure, like, if people go through the courses, they can get certified as an expert agent attractor or something to that effect. I don't know. But, you know, what it boils down to is getting that people trained. And there's a big difference, just like what we were talking about with the 3-way calls. There's a big difference between you going on a listing appointment today, having not done any of the training that we teach, and going in through the CHSA, the Certified Home Selling Advisor course, getting the presentation and then implementing that, and then going on a listing appointment. Like, you're not even guessing. It's a night and day difference. You're probably going to have night and day differences in your close ratio. It's going to go way up, and it's because you're following a process and you've been taught the process. So I don't know. I'm rambling, Jay. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we said it earlier. It's the same thing. It's learn the process and then you know, learn the process and then go take action and then revert. You know, go back and review. Did you follow the process? I mean, and you do that 15 times, and you're gonna you know it's the, you know, there's the everybody's heard the 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours is mastery. You know, that happens once you put in, you know, that's if you want to be known by your first name, Kanye, Tiger Woods, Venus, like, you know, that's mastery. And, you know, there's a book called The First 20 Hours, and it talks about how you can get good at anything in 20 hours. And I think I referenced this the other day. Like, you know, my daughter really never wanted to ride a bike, and she got real frustrated with it for a while. And then we just did, you know, in the move and stuff, we just didn't really, you know, ride bikes. And then now we have been. And so she got back out there and learned how to ride the bike and really learned how to ride it. But she did that in less than like 5 hours. And now she'll ride that thing anywhere, all over the place now. And it's funny. Like, we think things are going to be hard to learn. They're really not. You just need to put in the work and take the action towards the, you know, those learnings, and you'll get better. You'll get the marbles out of your mouth. Did I share my screen? Can y'all see this?
No.
Y'all can't? Okay. All right. No, I must have hit a button. So let me share. Let me just show y'all. This is what frustrates. This is what keeps me up at night. And it's because I don't have the clear who to go to help me solve this problem. And that's not even true. That's just a story in my own damn head. But let's see here. I'm just going to share this window, and y'all tell me if y'all have seen all this stuff before, or if y'all would like to have access to any of this stuff. So can y'all see it now?
Not yet. Go ahead and see if you can just share. Click the share button down below. It should bring it up, and then we can throw it into the screen.
Entire screen share. Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. Okay. Give me a second. I know how to do this. Preferences, security, and privacy.
Pierre, while you're finding that, Pierre, what I'm seeing, what I'm determining from your comment, he says that that there are lots of different training groups all going on, and people are getting confused and don't know which way to go. That's overwhelmed.
Well, a lot of it, yeah. I don't know that everybody's following the same process. I mean, I think, yeah, that's also probably part of it.
Yeah.
Screen scroll, privacy, screen recording. Okay.
I don't think it's agentattraction.com. I think it's agentattractiontraining.com, right?
That's correct.
Ian, it's agentattractiontraining.com. Not agent attract, not yeah, agentattractiontraining.com is where you want to go.
Okay, scratch that. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. But anyway, yeah, I've got a document that's been open on my computer for a long time, and it's got at least 50 different links to videos, documents, everything that's ever been created And I just know that shit is all spread out all over the place. But that it took me a week to gather everything, like get it all together, put it on one place, just so I had a place to go to. So there's some work that can be done to really make this a lot easier, I think, for everybody. And it ain't going to be in a pin post that's rolled up under 3 posts at the top of the group. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good solution as a start, but that's not the real answer. What else we got? I'm going to still work on this. Oh, there. It's a screen here.
Al, Stella's asking a couple questions. You want to kind of give her some feedback on that?
Yeah. She wants to go over. Well, EXP's rolled out transaction coordination as a business unit for EXP, facing toward the agent to help them if they need, some more. And I think it's like $250 a transaction, I want to say. If she, if the lady that you're speaking about, Stella, knows transactions inside and outside, she likes, to go ahead and work on that type of a level on transactions and help agents on the closing end of things, I would go into the world or workplace and look for the transaction coordination department where they're hiring those people. And I would refer her over to that and get her some income rolling in if that's what she wants to do. Hope that answered it.
Yep. Cool. I gave her some insight there, Al. Good call. There it is.
That was just a test.
Well,
like this is a link. And this is going to suck for everybody who sees something you like, you really would like to have, because I can't just easily share this with everybody in the group. So this is just lots and lots of stuff that we've gathered over the years. That's all scripts, different scripts that we've used, different people, different angles, broker consultation, like a lot of stuff. But it's not all in one place, except for this one paper, this one document. Upline assets. How many of you have watched all of Rob Flick's videos? How many of you watched Gene Frederick's videos or Brent's? Some of Brent's training. Some of the best stuff that's out there. This is not easy to find, by the way. You got to know what you're looking for.
Do you have that the one from Key West on there as well? With the 3 of you?
I don't think I have everything. That's another. Maybe I do. I don't think I do. It would be in Wistia, right? It should be, right?
Yeah, that one is. I mean, it's the Key West. It's Al Q&A and with you guys.
I think that one is the one with Gene and Brent.
Yeah.
I think that one is on there. Anyway, so there's so much, right? Like, we just have to get this in a place that everybody knows where it's at.
Where could we?
Honeybadgernation.com. It could be just a Google Doc and like fucking have all the links there. I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty. Like, we can make it pretty if we want to, but like we got to do better. Well,
there's some stuff on that. Is that what you're saying? Is that page, like, you can't just give that page away because there's other stuff on it?
Well, yeah. I mean, the share settings in Google to try to upload 10,000 names to it, I think that would probably crash my computer. Or I can make I'd have to go, actually, you would just go make everything public, which I don't think that's the goal. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, there's some of that stuff's not necessary, I guess, is my point. And some of it needs a little bit of instruction, like around what the hell is this, right? Or what would you use this for? But yeah, I think, we got something else we can work on.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I think being able to create a spot for that to where people can go to would be definitely on the priority list.
Jay, when someone's clicking on those links, are those all stored in different places? Like, is it some are on Wistia, some are in YouTube, some bring you in different places? Like, is it all over?
Yeah. They're links. Some of those links are Wistia, not forward facing at all. Nobody could ever find them other than us. Some of them are on YouTube. Some of them are on our channel. Some of them are on Brent's channel. Some of them are on Brent's website.
It sounds to me like that would be a very valuable project to get across the finish line.
I believe you would be correct in saying that.
Oh, I love it.
And the other thing too, in looking at that, is obviously there's just a boatload of great nuggets in there. But again, I think it has to be organized in a way where it's digestible and there has to be an order to it. Otherwise people will be like, oh, where do I start? We go right back.
This ain't everything, right? Like this doesn't have any of this doesn't have any of the top 200 interviews that I've done. That's not in there. Those are all in the Facebook group and on YouTube. But none of this stuff has been taken and archived. All the interviews that the Facebook launches that we've done when somebody does an announcement, those could be links, back to some of those that could be categorized in a way that might be valuable, whatever. All said and done, I think we're doing a really good job with this app that has the built-in some of the follow-up stuff and all that. But there's still more than just the follow-up. You need the scripts, you need the training, you need to hear somebody else say it, not just us say it. All that kind of stuff.
Love it. Well, there's definitely a demand for it. So we know it's right, and kind of project being worked up is to be able to make that accessible in a digestible way, right? In the right way without knowing where to start.
Right.
Very cool. Cool. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in, giving us some feedback, giving us some of your thoughts. Definitely extremely helpful. One, knowing that you guys are out there paying attention and hungry for, some direction, being able to give you guys some clarity to where we can get you moving down the path, building momentum and stacking up those wins. Fellas, anything that we want to wrap these rock stars up with as we send them into another week, another month?
Stay the course. Consistency wins. Time on task all the time.
Albie?
That's it, man. Hopefully we'll see some of you guys in Cleveland. I know there's a bunch of people flying in for Coach Burt and the charity hockey game, which should be a blast down at well, John, the hockey game is being played where we went to go see MGK.
That's crazy that you guys got that big ass arena.
Yeah, it should be fun. So
wow,
we're it's gonna be a great for agent attraction. Just another great way to network with our people. So hopefully you guys can make it in.
100%. Cool.
All
right, fellas. Appreciate you guys. Have a great week, and we'll catch you guys soon. See ya.